We have an update to a story our chief investigative correspondent Jim Axelrod has been covering for some time now. A group of LGBTQ veterans who were kicked out of the military because of their sexuality are now suing the Department of Defense, hoping to change what are currently discriminatory discharges to honorable. The lawsuit follows a 6-month CBS News investigation that highlighted the plight of these veterans. And now, first on CBS Mornings, one of the plaintiffs tells us about being forced to carry a painful reminder that who she loved made her unfit to serve in the U.S. military. She sat down with Jim Axelrod, and Jim joins us now. Jim, good morning.
Well, good morning, Tony. Our investigation has focused on thousands of LGBTQ vets kicked out of the military and denied honorable discharges. That cost them benefits like loans, health care, and tuition assistance. They've tried to get the Pentagon to address this injustice, but with little success. So now they're suing. This is 24-year-old you.
Correct.
Do you remember what she's thinking?
Oh, I was proud at that time. Putting on that uniform was everything.
When Cheryl Farrell joined the Navy in 1985, she was also joining the family business.
This is one of the best countries there is, and to be able to honor it by serving it was something that my whole family had done, so it was like, it seemed like the right thing to do.
Her grandfather was an Army officer in World War II. Her father, an Air Force officer.
You wanted to do 20 years.
That was my plan.
You didn't even do 10 months.
No, sir, I wasn't allowed to.
Soon after arriving at her first duty station, she says a casual conversation about gay clubs with a bunkmate landed her in front of naval investigators. Her military career was over a few months later. She was stunned to read her DD-214, her discharge document.
Other than honorable due to homosexuality, it hurt. Because my country's telling me I'm not good enough to serve because of who I love. Not because of anything else, just because of who I love.
Farrell is part of a group of veterans now suing to get the Defense Department to upgrade their discharges to honorable and change the language on their paperwork.
This case is not about damages. This case is about simply changing that piece of paper.
Jocelyn Larkin is one of the lawyers representing Farrell and others in a class action lawsuit against the Pentagon. As part of an ongoing CBS News investigation, we've reported at least 35,000 vets were kicked out of the service due to their sexuality. Yet just over 1,300 have had their discharges changed.
Every time they have to show that document, they are essentially outed involuntarily. Even if they just keep their private lives to themselves, they don't have a choice when they're asked for their DD-214 in order to access so many different opportunities that veterans receive. I mean, imagine if it was on your driver's license. It's ridiculous.
The suit calls the existing process of trying to change a vet's DD-214 inadequate, opaque, and forces veterans to relive the trauma of their discharge, carrying the burden of proving discrimination to the very institution that discriminated against them. A burden Larkin says veterans should not have to bear.
In my mind, the American military is capable of extraordinary things. And we're talking here about changing a single piece of paper.
It feels like it's 3 keystrokes on a computer.
It would take a lot less effort to change these documents than it did to hound them out and take away their dreams. Just to give them back the honor, make them feel like Veterans Day is also about them.
As for Cheryl Farrell, she still has hope she'll get the upgrade she wants. But after 37 years of carrying an other-than-honorable discharge on her DD-214 and the stigma that came with it, she also has some plans.
Once they change my discharge, I'm going to frame both of those DD-214s and hang them up. Because I want the country to know that I was willing to serve and die for my country, but you're telling me I'm not able to serve because of who I love? And you're not even willing to serve, but you get all the benefits. How fair is that?
A Pentagon spokesperson told CBS News the department does not comment on pending litigation, but in an earlier statement stood by its existing discharge upgrade process. The department said legal counsel is not required to apply for an upgrade and that it has maintained a goal to, quote, finalize 90% of all cases within 10 months.
Just a really powerful report, and it's about benefits, but you can see on the face of the person you're talking to there, it's also about honor. It's about that word and what it means. The Pentagon, how much interaction have you been able to get out of them?
Well, we keep asking them to sit down and explain. It'll be a dozen years since the implementation of the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Next month marks 12 years, and you have all of this sort of slow walking of dealing with this. We've been asking. They won't sit down and talk to us. But more importantly, Jocelyn Larkin, the lawyer we just heard from, 18 months ago, she reached out to the Pentagon and said, hey, before we get to a lawsuit, can we just lay this out and we can sketch out for you this injustice? They declined to meet with her.
Great work, Jim.
You should rethink that. Look, you can still hear and feel the pain.
So
on
on
painful.
that veteran's face. And like you
Yes.
said, a few strokes on a keyboard, it would seem.
Doesn't seem like it's very complicated now, does it?
And it's your work like this that helps with their fight.